We've already seen the use of labels already as we've worked through this course. However, it's definitely worth having one video here that is dedicated to them and why you may wish to leverage them. Now, a label is the same as a context in David Allen's Getting Things Done language. It's something that you need to have or a place that you need to be. Perhaps it's a person that you need, just something that is required in order to help you achieve the task. And there are lots of different approaches to labels. None of them are right or wrong. They are all personal and you use them as you wish. Let's create a label first of all. So there are a couple of ways of doing this. You can do it within the task creation process itself. So by bananas. And I'm going to give this a label of errands. So I'll type @errands. Now because this doesn't exist as a label already, it says label not found. So I'll click to create it. And then add task. Okay, I'll cancel and come over to the label section in the sidebar where now I can see the errands label. I can click this and any tasks with this label are displayed. Now if I click on the ellipses to bring up the label actions, we can add a label both above or below this one. And also I can edit the label from within here, so I'll check that. And in the edit label section we can change the existing label name. We can give it a colour, which is always a good idea to help bring some life to your tasks. I'll make this one blue here. And from here we can also add it to our favourites. So when you're out and about checking your mobile device, you don't need to search for your errand-based tasks. I'll just tap on it within the favourite section and you're there straight away. Okay, I'll click save. And we can see the label icon next to errands has changed to a blue colour now, as has the word errands underneath the task name. And if I come up to favourites, sure enough, our label is sitting up there. Now the last way of adding a label is simply by clicking this plus button, which will bring up the same window that we saw when editing a label. So what kind of labels are you going to want to use? Well, there are so many strategies that you can employ. Perhaps location, so here I have one for home, which is for those tasks that either only can be done from home or are best done from home. And then in that same manner, there is an office label here. You could have labels for certain shops, perhaps modes of transport like the train if you still commute and are better off doing tasks there. You could have person-based labels. So here I have one from Jim, which shows me all of the tasks I'm expecting from him, or perhaps things that I would like to talk to him about the next time that I see him. And when I do, I can just open Todoist, tap on this label, and I can ask for any progress updates or just discuss anything that I've got in this list. It makes me look hyper efficient. So of course I have one for my better half down here, and in my live environment I have labels for all members of my family, which helps keep me on top of things like homework, healthcare, extracurricular activities and fun stuff as well. Now the number to the right of the label indicates how many tasks are sitting there. So the highest is 8, which is next to online, so I'll click. And whilst the number of tasks should never be an indicator as to how important they are, if they are building up, it may be worth getting online soon and just batching together a few of these tasks to trim the overall Todoist list down. Now another very popular label is the waiting label. Now we all have tasks or information that we're waiting on others for. We'll add that task in Todoist, assign it a waiting label, and then schedule time in the day to follow up on it. Perhaps you could update it in the comments section that says when you last requested an update and what that response was. And because I value my marriage and cannot afford any kind of divorce currently, I've got a death list label in my live environment where anything that I have either been explicitly asked to do by my wife or that I know will earn me some serious man points if I get them done, they get the death list label. I could assign them a P1 priority flag, however this is like a P1 plus, it's a much higher level and it's more important than a work-based P1 task would be. So this just helps me keep my head in the game and on my shoulders. Now if I wanted to delete this label or any label for any reason, then this can be done from the menu here. And I'm just going to edit this and give it a colour that stands out. So Carol's favourite colour is lime green, so I'll select that one. And this has to go into favourites. I click save. And these labels can be moved to change the order, so I'll click and drag this one up to the top here. Okay, let's look at some other ideas for labels by clicking plus here. So we could look at putting the approximate duration of the task, so at 5 minutes. And this would be for those quick tasks that won't take long, those little filler ones when you have a small amount of time available. And you could put in longer times here for those heavier ones, which means that you're able to plan your time a little bit better. If you work in an environment that has different sites, then perhaps you could create labels for those so that when you get there, you make the most of actually being there and you don't need to wait for a revisit to do whatever it was that needed doing. Another good one I use or used to use in my commuting days is offline, because we assume that we're connected all of the time, but there are times when we're not. And it's good to have a list of tasks that we can do when that connection is gone, usually on some form of commute. So there are lots of ideas that you can have for how you're going to make labels work for you. As I say, there's no right or wrong approach to this. There's just your approach. It's a very personal thing. So take some time, set the ones that you want to be able to use, and then organically these should grow over time.